Nonetheless, the Queen Mother was furious that her grandson could not speak to humans. She remained worried and saw this as a threat to the kingdom's future, and was unwilling to accept a mute prince as the heir. Convinced that the kingdom needed a new queen to produce a more normal heir, Ekema traveled to a neighboring kingdom and brought back a second wife for the king, a woman named Nkiru. Once upon a time, in the thriving kingdom of Ikenga, King Obi and Queen Adanna ruled with wisdom and grace. Their kingdom was prosperous, their people content, but there was one dark cloud over their otherwise perfect lives. The queen was barren. Despite their love for each other, the royal couple was unable to produce an heir to the throne, a matter that weighed heavily on the king's mind. King Obi's mother, the Queen Mother Ekema, was a stern and demanding woman. She was deeply concerned about the future of the kingdom and constantly pressured her son to take another wife. She threatened that if Queen Adanna did not bear a child soon, she would find a new wife for the king herself. Queen Adanna was devastated by this threat and felt helpless. Desperate and heartbroken, she often found solace by the riverside, where she would cry out her pain and longing for a child. One sorrowful evening, Queen Adanna slipped away to the riverside. She cried out her heart, her tears mingling with the flowing waters. In her despair, she called upon the river goddess, pleading for a child to end her misery and save her marriage. Rising from the depths, the river goddess Mo appeared before her. The goddess had heard the queen's cries and decided to grant her wish. Queen Adanna, Mo spoke in a melodious voice. "Your heart is pure, and your sorrow is great. I shall grant you a child. However, this child will be different. He will possess a unique gift, the ability to communicate with animals. But be warned, he will not speak the language of men." Queen Adanna, overwhelmed with joy and gratitude, accepted the goddess's blessings without hesitation. She returned to the palace, her heart light for the first time in years, and soon after, she discovered she was with child. The kingdom of Ikenga rejoiced when Queen Adanna gave birth to a healthy baby boy. They named him Prince Ifeanyi, meaning nothing is impossible with God. The boy grew up to be handsome and kind-hearted, but as the goddess had foretold, he could not speak a single word in the human tongue. Instead, Ifeanyi communicated fluently with animals, birds, beasts, and even the smallest insects understood his words and obeyed his commands. Though the king and queen cherished their son, the inability to communicate with him in their language worried them deeply. As Prince Ifeanyi grew older, his unique gifts became more apparent. The palace grounds teemed with animals that he had befriended. He spent hours each day conversing with them, learning their secrets and understanding the natural world in ways no one else could. Despite his disability, Ifeanyi's wisdom shone through his actions. He could predict weather changes by talking to the birds, find hidden water sources by conversing with the trees, and even heal the sick with herbal remedies taught to him by the forest creatures. The people of Ikenga came to respect and admire him, despite his inability to speak to them directly. Nonetheless, the Queen Mother was furious that her grandson could not speak to humans. She remained worried and saw this as a threat to the kingdom's future, and was unwilling to accept a mute prince as the heir. Convinced that the kingdom needed a new queen to produce a more normal heir, Ekema traveled to a neighboring kingdom and brought back a second wife for the king, a woman named Nkiru. Queen Nkiru and Ekema quickly formed an alliance, plotting to kill Prince Ifeanyi. They reasoned that with the prince out of the way, Nkiru could bear a new heir, securing their influence over the kingdom. They made several attempts to poison Ifeanyi, but the birds, his faithful friends, always warned him in time, allowing him to avoid the traps set for him. Despite knowing that his grandmother and Nkiru hated him, Ifeanyi continued to love them. He treated them with kindness and respect, hoping that his actions might one day change their hearts. One fateful day, the kingdom faced an unprecedented threat. A neighboring kingdom, led by the ruthless King Azubike, declared war on Ikenga, converting its fertile lands and wealth. King Obi's forces were outnumbered, and defeat seemed inevitable. Desperate to save his kingdom, King Obi held a council with his advisors. Prince Ifeanyi, though silent, listened intently. He had formed a plan with his animal friends, and through gestures and drawings, conveyed his strategy to the king. The prince's plan was unconventional but brilliant. He proposed using the animals of the forest to aid in the kingdom's defense. Birds would act as spies, relaying the enemy's movements, while larger animals would create obstacles and distractions. The king, though initially skeptical, trusted his son's wisdom and gave his approval. As the enemy forces advanced, Prince Ifeanyi set his plan into motion. Birds flew overhead, their sharp eyes spotting the enemy's positions and reporting back. Herds of elephants and buffalo, guided by the prince, created barricades and ambushes. The jungle itself seemed to come alive, working in harmony to defend the kingdom. King Azubike's troops were bewildered by the unexpected resistance. They faced swarms of bees, nests of venomous snakes, and treacherous terrain altered by the prince's animal allies. Panic spread through their rank, and morale plummeted. In the midst of the chaos, Prince Ifeanyi led a daring raid, riding atop a majestic lion. He and a group of loyal warriors infiltrated the enemy's camp. The animals created enough distraction for the warriors to capture King Azubike and force a retreat. With the enemy defeated and King Azubike in chains, peace returned to Ikenga. The kingdom hailed Prince Ifeanyi as a hero. Though he had not spoken a word, his actions and the loyalty of his animal friends had saved them all. Queen Ekema, who had witnessed the prince's bravery and the unwavering support he received from the animals, began to see him in a new light. She realized that Ifeanyi's unique gift was not a curse, but a blessing to the kingdom. Her heart softened and she regretted her previous actions. Queen Nkiru, on the other hand, realizing her own schemes had been thwarted and fearing exposure, quietly left the kingdom, never to return. The women of Ikenga, led by Queen Adanna, celebrated the prince's courage and the unity he had brought to their land. One day, as Ifeanyi walked through the palace gardens, he was approached by his grandmother. Tears in her eyes, Queen Ekema knelt before him and begged for forgiveness. Ifeanyi, with the compassion and wisdom he was known for, embraced her, signaling his forgiveness. The bond between them grew stronger, and Ekema became one of his staunchest supporters. Years passed, and the history of the dumb prince who could talk to animals became a cherished legend in Ikenga. Prince Ifeanyi's wisdom and courage were passed down through the generations, inspiring future rulers and reminding the people of the strength found in embracing one's unique gifts. The kingdom flourished under his guidance, and the bond between humans and animals grew stronger. Prince Ifeanyi's legacy lived on, a testament to the power of understanding the unspoken language of the heart. And so, in the kingdom of Ikenga, the memory of the silent prince who spoke to animals remained a beacon of hope and inspiration, teaching all who heard his story that true wisdom and strength come from within, transcending the boundaries of language and tradition. To enjoy more stories like this, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel.